My name is Murthy Muthuswamy. I am a physicist and author of the new book, Defeating Political Islam, The New Cold War. This is third of the 4 lectures designed to understand and counter the threat of radical Islam. The title of this particular lecture is The Roots of Muslim Backwardness and Sharia. Sharia, the so-called Muslim law, is one of the 2 prominent features of Islam, the other being Jihad or religious war. The Islamic scriptures, the Quran, which is the Muslim holy book, and the Hadith, which has sayings and actions of Muhammad, form the primary roots of the Sharia. The Hadith in particular is rich in material related to the Sharia. Most Muslims call the Sharia a Muslim law. However, in reality, it is neither well defined nor it is precisely written, like most modern laws are. Therefore, from a modern context, it is absurd to call Sharia a law at all. By instituting the Sharia as a law, Muslim masses are made to depend upon radical and regressive clerics for Sharia's interpretation. This insidious reason is probably why the Sharia is portrayed as a law, because it gives clerics unmatched control and authority over Muslim communities. Non-Muslims, like most of you, may be surprised to learn that the most widely followed interpretations of the Sharia belong to certain Arab tribes that existed almost 1,000 years ago. Accordingly, the Sharia in its various forms reflects customs and outdated and often violent traditions of these Arab tribes. Not surprisingly, the Sharia is incompatible with modern constitutions. Sharia denies individual freedom, freedom of conscience, freedom to govern ourselves through an adaptable constitution, equality for men and women, and equal rights for Muslims and non-Muslims. Given these attributes of Sharia, Muslim communities that are guided by Sharia in various forms are unlikely to progress and are going to be driven to backwardness. Let me give you an example. The United Nations produces something called Human Development Index, HDI, every year. For the past 5 years, of the top 30 nations with highest HDI indices, only one Muslim nation, that too an oil-rich Southeast Asian nation of Brunei, belongs in that top 30 nations. Of the bottom 30 nations with lowest HDI indices of the past 5 years, there are at least 5 Muslim majority nations. This HDI, which reflects human empowerment, shows that Sharia is most likely the cause of Muslim backwardness. In other words, Sharia makes the process of wealth creation, the basis of building modern civilization, difficult for Muslim communities to achieve, and indirectly helps channel Muslim energies, especially the energies of the youth, into an adventure of jihad. That's an adventure directed at non-Muslims, and it is designed to conquer them through jihad. This is what I explained in my first lecture in comparing the evolution of Pakistan and India. An important point to be noted: the Sharia is an enabler of terror and jihad. Therefore, implementing Sharia separately for non-Muslim minorities Muslim minorities in non-Muslim majority nations is part of a nefarious design to conquer these non-Muslim majority nations. In my book, I have discussed this aspect of minority Sharia implementation in nations in Europe and also in India. Those who want to protect America should take a note of these points I have made. Because at the moment, various proponents of Sharia are looking to impose these outdated laws on Muslim minorities in America. How popular is the clamor for Sharia all over the world in Muslim communities? University of Maryland and worldpublicopinion.org conducted this survey in 2006 and 2007. According to this survey, 65% of the Muslims polled approved the proposition, I quote here, to require a strict application of Sharia law in every Islamic country, unquote. About 90% of the Muslims polled in the Indian city of Mumbai, India's most cosmopolitan city, wanted to be governed by Sharia laws in secular and democratic India. Here in America, in Detroit, a poll conducted in 2003 among mosque-goers indicated that 81% of them endorsed the application of Sharia in Muslim majority lands. We have another interesting statistics from Britain. 40% of the Muslims polled in Britain between the ages of 16 and 24 said that they would like to be governed by Sharia laws. However, among the Muslims of age 55 and over, this percentage was only 17. It's a puzzle as to why the younger generation Muslims have more affinity for Sharia. This can be explained by noting that in the last 20 to 30 years, Saudi Arabia alone has spent almost $100 billion in trying to propagate Islamic doctrines and material related to Islam, and has built mosques all over the world, including in Britain. Because Islamic scriptures are very rich in content with regard to Sharia and Jihad, propagating the scriptures lead to increasing embrace of Jihad or terror and clamor for implementation of Sharia laws. This brings us to the concluding question. Given the Sharia-induced backwardness and Jihad-induced terror, how do we mitigate the threat of radical Islam? This will be focus of my final lecture. Thank you for watching.